Let's go on because we're going to make this list pretty quick. Number 8. Americans, America, leave a trail of mess and destruction behind them, showing no regard for the environment or places you visit. Again, that could be other nationalities, but okay, so let's say that it's Americans. Uh, Basically, I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to say, yeah, I guess it is. But, you got people coming over here and they just look at it as I'm here for 10 days, I'm here for 2 weeks, or whatever. So if they go somewhere and they throw some garbage on the beach and nobody's looking, maybe they're not so concerned about it. Chinese just pee everywhere and poo everywhere too, which really bugs me. And it bugs a lot of people. It bugs the Hong Kongers, but now Hong Kong is basically Chinese. Yeah, I don't leave rubbish. These are things that I don't really do. None of these things. Let me see here. Disrespectful to the locals. 99.9% of the time, I am not disrespectful to the locals. I treat them as equals. I treat them as human beings, unless they don't treat me that way. Flaunting my wealth and privilege, that doesn't happen. I may tip a little bit, but, leaving a trail of mess and destruction behind me, showing no regard for the environment or the places I visit, that doesn't happen. I just don't do it. All right. Yeah, public littering, Chinese and Thais, and even Thais are pretty bad about that. They just don't care. They just think, oh, it's no big deal. Whatever, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and that's fine with me. And honestly, I think they run a risk with letting all these Chinese in. They're going to let all these Chinese come in, and the Chinese are coming in mass. And they can't control them. They can't control them. They can't control what they do. They can't control what they say. They can't control how they are. And so the Chinese get carried away. And they're just like, fuck it, I don't care. This isn't my country. And even in their own country, they don't care. So how important is it? It's not important. But we're not talking about the Chinese. We're talking about Americans. And I think most Americans know not to litter. I think that's a pretty big step. Just don't litter. If you got some piece of trash and you don't see a garbage, put it in your pocket. Put it in a bag and just wait. And then when you see it, throw it out. It's very easy. That's pretty simple. You don't need to throw stuff on the ground, especially if you're out like in a national park or something. If you're in Bangkok, I know why people do it. It's because, oh, there's litter everywhere. I'm just going to do whatever I want. And what's funny is in my village here, there's absolutely no littering. There's no rubbish. The only thing there is garbage cans with garbage in them, but there is no rubbish right in the main drag. I don't see it. Now, maybe if you go down to the park, there's rubbish down at the park. I don't know why. And it's maybe because it's next to the canal. But if you go out from my village and you go out a ways, there's garbage everywhere. And they're starting to try to clean it up. They're starting to bulldoze some places. But I looked at it yesterday. I was talking to somebody at the gym yesterday. You know what it is? You know what it is about this place? I come back here and I look around, and what do I see? Dilapidated old buildings for the most part. Now, granted, I go into the mall, Buckby. Oh, there's so many restaurants. It's so nice. Yeah, it's nice. All right, there's some new restaurants. Big deal. I'll get tired of those. When I look out of the window of the gym, all you see is dirty old buildings. You don't see new buildings. You don't see buildings and you go, wow, it's very nice there. It's not even that it's old, but it's very clean. No, they're filthy. So you see filthy buildings everywhere, and you're like, this is how people live here. It bugs me. It bugs me that I got to look out from a window, and all I see is crappy buildings. Really, I see buildings that, they're just not very nice. And you can go some places in Thailand and see some nice little new upscale buildings, but for the most part, if you're in Bangkok, what you see is old, dilapidated buildings. All right, Sarni's down on Soi Ton Son it's not that big, but it's nice, it's new. If you go down Sarni's down by the riverside, that Sarni's is very nice. All right, and I need to go to the Sarni's. I know that, but give me a break. I can only go to these places every so often because I've got to I've really got to take a look and see, when I go and how I go, and do I feel like sitting in traffic for an hour and a half. Yeah, there is a new You Hunt, We Cook. The same people work there. And there also is a new Minato, but there's no place to sit. You have to go out and sit out among the masses. So if I wanted, I could go every single day to the mall and go sit there at the place where everybody sits and eats. I could go and sit there, and that's what I do. I sit there and work on my computer. If I wanted to do that, I can do that. I don't want to do that because it's a bit boring. It's like, well, what are you going to do? I mean, how often can you go and sit at Starbucks? And there isn't a Starbucks there right now. But how often can you go and sit down at the mall where there's a lot of new restaurants? And there's actually 40 restaurants. That's what it says. They've got a list up, a page, a couple of places around the mall that says there's 40 new restaurants in the mall. So, there you go. An ugly Aussie. Well, I don't know if you're an ugly Aussie. I would say most of the time, most of us are pretty good tourists and good expats. That's what I would say. All right, number 7. And this one irks me. It irks me. Oh, hang on a second. We're talking about flights right now. I'm pissed off.